Hello and welcome back. In our previous video, we talked about your present job market value. In this video, we're going to talk about self-coaching versus professional coaching. We also want to look at some trade-offs. I want to go a little bit more in depth about this time allocation. So let's begin. Self-coaching versus real coaching. So let's talk about real coaching. So in my previous example, I talked a little bit about baseball. And so if I'm going back into my example, in baseball, there are several coaches that you might be working with to improve your skills, such as you're going to have a batting coach for those who bat, you're going to have a pitching coach for those who pitch. You're even going to have some running coaches and how to have your proper stance before you steal a base or trying to round the base. And so in a professional atmosphere such as baseball, we're relying on a lot of different coaches to actually coach us to improve upon our skills. Self-coaching is a little bit different because I'm not relying on someone else to enhance or help me improve a skill. I'm actually taking the initiative, doing the research, and finding out the resources that's going to be valuable in me improving my own skills. So that's why it's called self-coaching. Some of those important things about self-coaching is it's repetitive. The more I see something, the more I'm able to retain it. Howard Gardner talked about the senses, and if I can engage my hearing, my vision, my touch, then I'm more apt to remember something. Also, it's going to become in the practice of doing something on a regular basis to make sure that I'm refortifying these skills that I'm picking up, to make sure they're not perishable. So in my self-coaching, I'm going to utilize everything that we talked about so far. My self-evaluation grid for analysis, my dashboard, and I'm always going to be looking at ways to analyze and improve upon my SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, as well as my present job value. And so as I look at my dashboard, I clearly can see what skills are improving or what skills need to be improved upon, otherwise competencies. And so it's very important to think about the trade-offs. If I only have a allotted amount of time, say for instance, you know that you want to secure a job by a certain date, or you at least want to be able to apply by a certain date, and say that date is 6 months into the future, then I know there's going to have to be some trade-offs. I can't improve all my competencies simultaneously because I really need to focus. So I might be able to improve, just say 3 or 4 out of the 6 or 10 that I have selected. And so that's what's called a trade-off. If I see the need to improve more upon my communication skills, then another competency might stay where they're at because I'm really focusing on one competency. And so if we go back to my example of the baseball, I can't improve upon all my skills within 6 months. But say, we come up to play against a very important team to make it to the pennant, then I really need to improve upon my hitting. So I'm going to improve upon that and focus on that, and then move simultaneously to the next important skill or competency that I have selected for my job. So what have we learned? We really learned the difference between self-coaching versus professional coaching. How in a professional coach, I'm relying on others to pull out of me those skills to help me improve upon it. Whereas self-coaching, as Kim in the previous video had talked about, is me relying upon myself to utilize my time, my resources, and really improve upon myself for my particular job, competency, or skill. Also, we talked about the importance of trade-offs. If I focus on one, then I also understand I might not be able to focus on 4 simultaneously. So I need to prioritize what competencies are going to be more of a priority than others in being able to attain my selected job. What's coming up next is, of course, strategy and how to implement a strategy. Now that we talked about the self-coaching and relying on resources, now we have to implement it to see that our dream job come to fruition. So I look forward to seeing you in our next video.